It is extremely important to understand what is actually happening right now. I truly believe over the next 3 years, you're going to see a complete rewiring of your financial system. And I believe that Trump is working to dismantle the Federal Reserve. Now, this is just my opinion. I'm sharing it with my facts, figures, numbers, logic, and my thought process on how I'm positioning myself and what I believe is the greatest transfer of wealth in history. I followed a pattern from 2020 to 2025, and it worked out phenomenal for my family and my ecosystem. Now, I have a pattern that I'm following from 2025 to 2030 based on the things that are happening right now, things that have happened in history, and pure macro and microeconomic data. So yesterday, Jerome Powell only lowered interest rates 0.25. He also signaled that he may be halting rate cuts. This is putting pressure on the Fed like crazy. It's creating like a slingshot mode. Imagine a slingshot just pulled back super tight. Well, they also announced that they're going to start buying treasuries. So quantitative tightening on December 1st, quantitative easing started. They're going to start buying bonds, printing money. And if he starts to halt rates when Trump brings in the new Fed chair, he's going to bring rates down hardcore. In 1913, a group of bankers had a meeting on Jekyll Island. That created the Federal Reserve. They're not federal, nor are they reserve. They're not part of the government. They've collapsed the dollar 96 to 97%. In 2017, I've showed you the video many times where Trump says we're going to be in an even playing field monetarily before we know it. He was worried about the debasement of the US dollar. And now here we are. He's going to bring in a favorable person for the Trump administration that's going to bring rates down like crazy. It's going to devalue the dollar like you've never seen before. You're going to see more money printed than you've ever seen before. And you need to pay attention to stablecoins, decentralized finance, and the fact now that banks flipped. Banks like Vanguard, old banks, are now allowing 50 million of their clients access to XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Franklin Templeton, Bank of America. The new monetary system is going to be decentralized. That's why I think they're going to dismantle the Federal Reserve. I think they're going to pull it up underneath the government for now. They're going to lower interest rates. They're going to last Hail Mary. They're going to print as much money as possible. And this is how I'm going to position myself from 2025 to 2030 and then kind of look at the landscape as we go forward in 2030. As I put my money in deflationary assets that have fixed supply, that are deflationary based on their utility or their scarcity. So what I do is I create cash flow through businesses and through dividend stocks. With that cash flow, which is someone else's debt, there's no money in the system. Your income is my debt. My income is your debt, so you're getting paid in someone else's debt. I take my income and I create cash flow. When I get cash flow, I put it into assets that have fixed supply. I'm positioning myself in what I think is a new monetary system for the next 100 years. Things like XRP, which is a bridge currency, things like Bitcoin,